Welcome to the Impact Art segment. I'm Philip Morris, CEO of Proctors, and today with us is Deborah Carpenter, the president of the Schenectady Art Society. And Deborah, you're an artist, and you're taking on this job of running an art society. It sounds almost frightening just to hear it.
It is. It was a little, like, really? You want me to do that? But I just love it. It's a wonderful, wonderful group of artists. Very diversified group. Anything from abstract, multimedia to landscape portraits, and just wonderful, wonderful, fine artists.
How long has the group been around together?
The group has actually been around since 1967.
Wow, that's
yeah.
And
so,
what instigated it in '67?
That I'm not sure of. I was still in school.
and your work, what do you do? What do you make?
Well, that's kind of funny. One of the members said that Deb paints whatever she wants, whatever she's in the mood for. I generally am a landscape painter. Work primarily in oils now. I started with watercolor and then graduated to the oils, which I really like. I do a lot of landscape, but usually I like to do something a little bit different than just a plain landscape. Usually there's some kind of focal point.
Talk about that more. What do you mean?
Well, one of the things I love about painting is that you really can capture the details when you're painting versus in a photograph. So it's so much nicer to actually look at something and really, really, really look at it, and just look at all those details that you would have otherwise missed if you're just passing by and viewing whatever. One of my recent paintings is of a turtle, a big tortoise that we saw in the zoo, and he's kind of taking up the whole canvas, but it's just like a part of him with the head, part of the shell, and part of the front legs. So it's kind of a different look.
Yeah, because it reminds me of, who's the, Igor Kipnis, is that his name? The printmaker, who does these beautiful landscapes. I actually own one, but always, not through, but there's some piece that's in a different perspective.
Right.
So the one I own is through the branches of a tree. So the tree is intensely close, but the landscape is all there around it. Sounds like a similar.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's really fun.
Pretty similar, yeah.
I love Kipnis's work, so I have to remember to note yours next time they're out and about. Been painting your whole life?
No, actually. I thought I was more like Grandma Moses, but I found out later that she started much later than me. That's
what they call her, Grandma. So you're Mom Moses.
Yeah, well, no, I'm actually Grandma too, but so I actually started when my oldest granddaughter was 4, only about 6.5 years ago. So I'm still pretty new to this whole arena, and it's just a beautiful, wonderful arena. I love being involved in it. And I sketched a bit when I was a kid, but never really did the liquid form of art until I was close to 50.
So at this point, you have a studio?
You could kind of call it that. I have a studio / office in my home, and my daughter's old room is my makeshift gallery where I hang all my pieces when they're not in shows.
So how many shows do you do a year?
Oh gosh, I do a lot with Art to Cure. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, I have, but explain it for.
Art to Cure is a wonderful, wonderful organization, which actually quite a few of our members have been approached. We had Jackie Watsky come to our last meeting, and so we have quite a few of our artists in Schenectady Art Society that will be showing. There's a new show coming up, and I think we hang in the middle of March, and they have this big gala event. What's wonderful about Art to Cure is they take local artists and promote the talent, the tremendous talent that's in the area. At the same time, they've taken doctors' offices, as well as I think there's a new one that has, it's not a doctor's office, but each office picks out the charity of their choice. The next big gala event is at the endocrine office on Washington Ave Extension. 40% of any proceeds goes towards the American Diabetes Association, which is just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And they've raised, oh gosh, I'd have to look at their newsletter, but I think it was in excess of $50,000. And they've only been doing this. This will be their 4th annual event. And I show there year-round because thousands of people walk through those offices, and your name gets out there.
That's great. Obviously, we didn't talk about the Art Society, but it's about promoting the artists and helping to sell work. And
exactly. The Schenectady Art Society has shown several occasions in the Van Curler Room at the Schenectady Community College for quite a few years. And they will also be at the Niskayuna Eddy doing a group show there, as well as the Niskayuna Library. So it's promoting the local talent. Our group gets together 6 times a year, and what's wonderful about the meetings that we have, you know, the usual general meeting that discusses the upcoming shows that we'll be doing, and it also at the end of the meeting we have a program. It's either a workshop or a demonstration, and so you're always learning new techniques and new mediums that you would maybe not otherwise try had you not been introduced to it. So it's really a very educational, as well as just promoting the arts in the community. I know when I started painting, my oldest granddaughter, along with her parents, were living with us for a couple of years. So when I started painting, I had this little 4-year-old, and I said, what am I going to do? Because, you know, it was a college class, and it was a little stressful at times, like 4 paintings in a week, oh my God, you know. But I sat my little 4-year-old down, and I said, okay, here's a set of paints, here's your paper. She painted with me. And so it was really wonderful that we got her involved in it. And now I have a second granddaughter who's also been introduced to the arts through Nana. And that's probably one of my favorite times to paint. We'll set up easels on the back deck in the summertime and have little art sessions. During the winter months, we cram in a couple extra easels in my office/studio. And actually, last weekend we had a little session. And what I liked, I introduced them to oils this time. I just used those little, you know, the little canvas boards and let them have a little fun.
Oh, that's great.
But I usually give them, lately I've been giving them something to paint, a photograph or something, and just see what their perspective is on it. And it's just incredible to watch them. And this time we had a really cool picture of a penguin. And I turned it upside down, and I had them paint it upside down. So that, and it was basically a lesson in shapes and values, so that they could, and they did pretty well with it. And so it was a very cool, they enjoyed it. They thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's really great. Now, I want to ask about Art to Cure a little more. So
yeah.
The Art Society has a relationship with Art to Cure, but it's a separate thing.
They are both totally separate. The Art to Cure was founded by Jackie Botsky, a very well-known artist in the area. She's a wonderful artist, and she got this concept to help local artists in conjunction with local charities that needed funds. Right,
and what I'm intrigued by is that there are so many walls of so many places that need art. It is an incredible thing. Years ago, in my work in Chautauqua County, we started a program where we would actually be the interface between businesses doing renovations or opening new spaces and the selection and acquisition by purchase of art from local artists. And we did it for about 2 years. I just wonder if there might be more opportunities like that.
I think so. And actually, I work with another woman. I've been with her for about 4 years now, Janet Tangoy. She's with Art and Soul. I don't know if you've heard of them. But that's also another great opportunity. She has a lot of corporate businesses looking to fill their office space with beautiful artwork. So there's shows periodically. And what that does, I usually don't expect to sell anything at exhibitions like that, but I do expect to get the name out there to show your work. And I think that's probably 75% of it with any artist, is getting your name out there so that people can see your work. And that's the whole thing. But what you're saying there is, you know, as far as filling these empty walls with local artists' work is just a wonderful idea. And what Art to Cure has done, it's a win-win situation with them. I mean, even if you don't sell anything, although the last 2 annual shows that I've done with them, I did sell a piece at each one. And it gets bigger every year. It's like last year, I think there were like 400 or 500 people, and I think this year they might be expecting more. That gala event, by the way, is April 12th, so save the date.
So one last question. So where do you think the Art Society could be, wants to be in a decade? A decade, not next year, a long time, past your presidency.
You know, there's just such a great group of talented artists in this group. And they're just now starting to expand into different venues and not just focused in one place. I think they're going to be pretty well known. I think it's going to have a great impact on the community. I think the youth in our communities really need to be exposed to the arts. I think it's very good for the soul. I think it's great to see our young experience and accomplishment in whatever their art is. I see a lot of communities just kind of promoting what used to be graffiti into art and a more positive feedback from that. So I just kind of see this thing expanding into and filtering down to our youth. The more our youth are exposed to the arts, whether it's performances like here in the wonderful Proctors, or whether it's on the walls of a doctor's office that you might see something that inspired you or touched you in some way. I just think it's going to be an all-around positive experience. I think they'll continue. They've been around since '67. Probably around another 100 years.
Well, that's great. Keep painting.
Yes, yes, yes.
Deb Carpenter, and I've been calling her Deborah this whole interview, but she was clear, just Deb. Deb Carpenter, the president of the Schenectady Art Society, thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us here at Impact. Proctors, bringing the best in arts, education, and entertainment.